It's green, guess I got a thing for bok choy. Ain't worried about your playlist, bro. I need an alias, I need a foreign passport, and a change of radius. I don't pay them, but I don't save them, I ain't the glaciers. Need 2 chains like Def Jam to change the glaciers. Titanic crash against blocks, you know my way of crazy. Put over with no ID, look like cocaine 80. Same kid with stripes like a ref's average shirt. Got the next magic verse, got my chest tatted first. Treasures, Antioch stores make desperate measures. Back when you had a one up, when your shirt said pleasures. Was in the church like elders, was underground like shelters. Made a plan to get it and kept it together like welders. I'm living stress free, never catch me, never test me. Oh no, I'm living stress free, never catch me, never test me. Oh no, I wish you could see me now, I'm unstoppable. I wish you could see me now, I'm unstoppable. I wish you could see me now, I'm unstoppable. I wish you could see me now, I'm unstoppable. Whoa, 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 whoa. All black leather now, my vibe much better now. My tribe said I'm the one, my time feel extra now. My instincts dialed in, my senses is dialed up. My sentences chime in, they eyebrows rise up. I feel like a titan writing the scripture. My might is touching the mixture, designing the holy picture. Reminisce on tradition, my fighting the heart with the knockout. Genesis definition of light when God told me pop out. With a smile on my face upon my arrival. It's a difference when racing for your survival. Think I'm poised to win it. Checker flags, waving Nipseyana, drinking Chardonnay with my little mama banging Rihanna. Icons of this time that we live. I'm facing my every fear. I'm taking time to be still. I'm breaking down every barricade as I wait at the pier. Still waters run deep, and I swear it's great to be here. I'm learning.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and good evening to also. Like good morning here in Canada, Western Canada. Good evening, everyone that is watching us from Asia, especially from the Philippines. Welcome to our live stream and live webinar with regards to Canadian nurses, or nurses, how to come to Canada to work as a nurse and immigrate as a nurse. My name is Israel Roman. We'll be starting shortly. Few housekeeping. If you are watching us via Facebook Live, please, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to type them in the comment section. I will go ahead. I will, from time to time, take a look at that one and answer them. If you are watching via Zoom, there is a chat box in there you can use to chat with me as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. And again, I will be answering them from time to time. Please also Facebook, if you're watching us from your Facebook live stream, please, if you don't mind, like us, and as well as do share our live stream to groups, to any groups that you think that would be that would benefit from this live stream or webinar when it comes to how to immigrate to Canada as a nurse. Okay. So once again, my name is Israel Roman. I am a licensed Canadian immigration consultant and at the same time a nurse here in Canada, a registered nurse here in Canada. Came from the Philippines in 2008 as a nurse and since then working as a nurse here in Canada. So it's been a while. I've been working as a nurse here in Canada. We have our offices. Our Canadian office would be here in Nanaimo, British Columbia. And we also have our Philippine location, which is in JP Laurel Highway, Lipa City, Batangas. So if you guys want to visit our office, if you guys are close to Lipa City, don't feel free to visit our office and to chat with our country manager over there. So why move to Canada? First is there are great employment opportunities available here in Canada. And not to mention, like as a nurse, there's a lot of work here as a nurse across Canada. Okay, so there's always vacancies here as a for nursing. We always hire in the hospital that I work. We always hire nurses. So every year we hire tons of nurses, and we're still, for some reason, we are still needing more nurses. And it's not just in the hospital that I work in, but it's across Canada. There is always a need for nurses. Okay, and and also not and for other industry as well. There's great employment opportunities here, and not to mention that it is an equal employment opportunity, right? So there is no asking for age, religion, gender, or your marital status. There's nothing like that. So when you ask, is there a maximum age to work in Canada? There is no maximum age to work in Canada. As long as you're able to work and qualified without looking at the age, you will get the job. Safe and sound. So violent crime is extremely rare here in Canada, and gun ownership is almost 4 times lower than the U.S., which this might be uh, this might be not accurate anymore, especially with the things happening in the U.S. So I think it would be greater than 4 times lower than the U.S. Universal health care. So medical treatment is mostly free at any point. Okay, so when you need to be for you need a medical checkup, you go to your GP or general practitioner. You go in and you see your doctor and you get your prescription and you go out. Right, so you don't have to pay anything for that one because everything's paid for. Or if you needed to go to emergency department, there's no question around, do you have a money for deposit, right? You go in, you get your treatment, you go out. If you are going to give birth, you check in, you go in, and then you give birth, and later on, you go out of the hospital with your baby. And yeah, so you don't have to pay, all right? And they won't be asking for your money for down payment or deposit before they admit you, okay? If you need an MRI, that was free. If you need dialysis, that's free. I'm hoping you won't need all of those. I mean, like maternity, I mean, like giving birth, that's fine, yeah, right? But yeah, the other things like dialysis, MRI, hopefully you won't need it. But if you do, you'll be able to access it, no problem. Education. So all young citizens have access to the best schooling available, no matter what their background is. And you have access to free education between from grade 1 to grade 12. Okay. And it doesn't mean that it's a the quality of education would be poor since it's low, or because you're attending a public school. No, right? So the standards for education standards are to the highest quality, but still it's accessible for everyone, no matter what your background is. Okay, study permit nursing pathway. Just a few points. If you guys are not, I mean, like, if you guys are not going to avail our services, that is fine. I'm hoping that if you can take anything out of this webinar or live stream, this is the slide that you'll be taking because this one will help protect you. Okay. So anyone that is giving you advice for immigration purposes to Canada, whether it's free or paid, they need to be licensed with the Immigration Consultant of Canada Regulatory Council. Okay. They need to be licensed with ICCRC. They are not legally approved to provide advice if they're not licensed with ICCRC. It's different if it's your family, but if it's your friend or someone else, someone that you are compensating for the advice or for the immigration work that they're doing for you, they need to be licensed with ICCRC. And if you have any complaint against them, then you can file it against ICCRC. But if they're not licensed with ICCRC, then they won't be able to help you out with that one. So if you want to check if that person that you're working with is licensed, then you go to ICCRC's website. So this is the website. This is where we take our license. We have a board exam as well before we get our license. And then you go to public register. And then you scroll down and you type in the name of the consultant you're working with. So let's say for me, for this one, let's type in Roman. That's my last name, first name Israel. And you go to search and you'll see Roman Israel and the status is active. And that's my license number right there, R524540. And when you hit contact, you'll see Nanaimo, BC, Canada. That's where I am based. And the company I work for is Roman and Associates Immigration Services Limited. Okay, so that's one way to check if the person that you're working with is licensed with ICCRC. Now, it did mention that I work with Roman, or I work for Roman and Associates, and that business is in Canada. How can I be certain that that business is not a fly-by business or really exists, right? So in Canada, you can search for the company. So you go to Canada Business Registry. I'm pretty sure in the Philippines, if the company's in the Philippines, you'll be able to search it as well. There's a way, but if they're saying that the business is in Canada, then this is one way. So type in the business name, hit enter, and there you go. Roman Associates status is active and business type BC company. Okay. So now you have two ways of making sure that you're safe. Next one is now, how sure are you that I am here in Nanaimo, BC and practicing RN? Because that's what I said in my earlier slide. Now, this is also a way, a way that you can check for the person that you are working with, especially if they're not, let's say, in the Philippines at the moment or in your home country, wherein you're able to see face to face, right? There's a lot of postings right now in Facebook where it says work in Canada, and it would give you a lot of different types of work: housekeeping, customer service, hotel receptionist, car wash person, a lot. And then when you click yes to the comment, they'll give you some details on how to go about it, and you'll see where the message is coming from, or who is doing the Facebook post, right? So you can go ahead and search for that person in google.com, and give you example. Let's say for me, let's say you want to search, okay, who is Israel Roman in Google? So Israel Roman Nanaimo, and you'll see that on the right hand side, Roman and Associates Immigration Services Limited, because that's where I work. And you'll see this is Google approved. That means they have really verified the company and its location. And yes, and on the left hand side now, am I really a practicing RN in Canada. So let's go search if there's anything that would say that. So you can go to here, this site right here, or where it says nanaimobulletin.com. So it says, the article says Israel Roman, NRGH intensive care unit, telemetry medicine floor, heart health manager. There you go. So I am in that Israel Roman Israel, or there is Israel Roman in Nanaimo. Let's see if that one is just coincidence, right? Okay. So let's click on some pictures here of who Israel Roman is. And maybe I'll show you my cam so that you can compare it. So you'll see in there, Nanaimo Hospital Auxiliary Donation tops 300,000. That's from Nanaimo News. And you'll see in the podium right there, City of Nanaimo, and that's me right there giving a thank you speech to the audience. So you'll see it, myself on the webcam, and the picture there, they look the same, because that's me. Or another picture right here is Nanaimo Hospital gets 340,000, BC local news. So that would be me holding a big fat check right there. And maybe let's do one more. So this is again myself, and this is me providing a tour to one of the politicians in Nanaimo, touring one of the units in the hospital that I work for. There you go. So I'm hoping that with this three things, you'll be able to search for the person that you are working with or compensating for, and so that you'll feel comfortable and you'll feel safe and you'll feel okay, or not okay, but you'll feel great of working for that person, right? Or working with that person, because you know that that person is legally able to provide you the services that he is doing for you. Okay, moving on. So how to become a registered nurse here in Canada? Okay, so as much as we want to say, okay, I am a nurse right now in the Philippines, I want to fly to Canada and work right away as a nurse. Unfortunately, there is no such thing. So there's some hoops that we have to go through, right, as a nurse in order to come here and be able to work as a nurse. There's a lot of things that we need to do, which I did, right? And but it is worth it, right? It is rewarding, and you just have to be patient on the process. Okay. There's option one, which is not so easy version. So I'll show you the traditional way so that later on you guys can choose between the two options, right? There's only two options that I can provide you, and those are the only options that I can think of right now. So not so easy version. So first, you have to take your IELTS, right? And once you have taken your IELTS, you need to have the NNAS assess your credentials. Okay, so you apply to NNAS, and then they would ask you to send some documents to your school, nursing school, and then your nursing school sends the your transcript, your copy of your diploma, and all of those things to NNAS. Then you take the IELTS again. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when you took your IELTS before the NNAS, that might have been now time have lapsed. So now you might have been your first IELTS now have been 2 years. So now that one is no longer valid. So you have to retake your IELTS. And with this one, it would be academic IELTS, right? Then you will go and take the nursing competency assessment exam. Okay. So this is two parts. One is the computer, and the other one is the written and oral, right? So computer-based assessment. So that would be about nursing, anything under nursing. It's almost like a board exam, but not yet, right? So computer-based assessment. So it's kind of like trying to assess if there's any gaps between the education that you got from your home country versus the Canadian education for nursing, right? Canadian nursing education. So is there any gap between those two? So that would be your computer-based assessment. And then next would be your simulated lab assessment and your oral assessment. So with this one, think about, go back to your college days, nursing college years, wherein you have your return demonstration, right? So you'll learn skills in theory, and then at the end of the week, you'll be doing a return demonstration. So an example would be, let's say, head to toe assessment, right? So how do you do your head to toe assessment? So you have your theory. You'll be, I'm pretty sure that one will be asked in your computer-based assessment. And then on your simulated lab assessment and oral assessment, you'll be performing the actual head to toe assessment. Now, with those two, your NNAS and your NCAS, the College of Nurses, or let's say here for BC, it's the BCCNP. It's similar to PRC in the Philippines. So now they would kind of like take those two results and based from those two determine what are your gaps, right? And what are the coursework, what are the remedial courses that you need to take in order before you can take the RN exam or before you can take the board exam. Okay, so and that one can only be taken here. Let's say you're trying to get licensed here in BC. There's only two schools that provides that one, which is Kwantlen Polytechnic University here in Langley and your Thompsons River University in Kamloops, BC. Right? If you are trying to get licensed in other provinces, the same thing. It would only be those coursework or remedial courses can only be taken in a Canadian designated school, right? So it could be a course, one course, could be two courses, but it would be a 6-month course, or it could be a 1-year course, right? So it depends. Everything is based on your NNAS and NCAS result. And the NCAS, that one, you will be taking that one here in Canada as well, right? That one cannot be taken in your home country. That is not given in the home country. It's given in Canada. Then you search for full-time employment, right? Now you're able to, you'll be able, once you have completed the course, then the College of Nurses will now allow you to take the board exam. Once you have taken the board exam, you search for your full-time employment. Okay, so just to make sure that you make sure it's clear, For the NCAS, you have to come here to Canada to actually do the simulated lab assessment and oral assessment. Okay, so you apply for a visa, you come here, take those exams, and then go back home and wait for the result. Once you receive the result, and then it tells you now you need to take a coursework you need to take some courses or remedial courses, then again, you come here, you apply for a study permit, you come here to take those courses, right? And then at that point now you try to stay in Canada to get licensed and at the same time search for your full-time employment. Okay, so if it's a 6 months course, then after your 6 month, you try to stay in Canada while you process your board exam and then search for full-time employment. So this is the not so easy version, right? It's doable, but it's not easy. There's a lot of what ifs here, kind of thing, right? So it's not a sure. It's hard to say what would happen in each step, right? So how can we streamline this one? What is the easy way then? The easiest way would be the study permit option. Okay, and then I'll show you how. The first option, you still have to study no matter what, 99% of the time, because you are internationally graduate nurse, you will have a course or a remedial course to take. No matter how great you are in school, you will still have a course to take. No matter how, I haven't seen anyone just bypass the coursework, even though they excelled high in their assessment. Yes. So you'll still have to study. So option 2, we'll try to streamline it. Okay. So this is the straightforward study permit. So it is the fast and easy pathway to Canada for nurses. Apply for a study permit. And the course that you'll be taking would be either the 12-month or the 18-month nursing review course. Okay. Once you finish the course, you apply then for a work permit. And the work permit, the intention is for you to work as an RN. Because during your study permit, in the course, in the middle of that course, you'll be eventually have that interim license to work as an RN. So once you have completed the course, you apply for a work permit and then you work as a nurse. Okay. After working for a year as a nurse, then you apply for your permanent residency. And this one would be via the Express Entry Program. It could be under the category Canadian Experience Class or the Skilled Worker. So this is a straightforward, fast and easy pathway to Canada for nurses. You come here, study for that 12 or 18-month nursing review course. After completing that one, work permit, working as an RN. After a year, permanent residency. So there's no back and forth, and there's a plan, there's a definite plan in each step. Okay, what happens after each step? There is a definite plan. So now it's a study permit. Okay, so what's the eligibility requirements then? How can I be qualified for this? So this one would be, so since it's study permit, This is the federal requirement. What does the government of Canada, or IRCC, Immigration, Refugee, Citizenship of Canada, what do they require? What do they look for that student, for that applicant who is applying for a study permit in order for them to approve the visa? So you need to be enrolled in a designated learning institution. That's a check mark. And of course, the school where you'll be taking the course, that is a designated learning institution. You won't have any problem with that one. Next one is you need to prove that you have enough money. Okay, so this one would be money to cover for your tuition fee. That is for your nursing review course. And then your living expense. Are you able to support yourself while you're studying in Canada? You cannot say that, oh, I'll just work while I'm in school. That's the plan. No, you're not able to say that one, but you're able to work though. But that one cannot be you cannot indicate that as your plan. That's your solution for where you'll get your money for your living expense. You need to show that one. Okay? And as well as your return transportation, money for your return transportation. But don't you worry, you're not going back though, right? But you still need to somehow show that one. So living expense, and it says here for yourself and your family members who come with you to Canada. Yes, your spouse or and children can come with you as long as you're able to show enough financial to support them as well while you are studying in Canada. And you're admissible to Canada. That means no criminal record, then no misrepresentation, and in good health. But it doesn't mean it's a no. It is just straightforward if you don't have any criminal offense or misrepresentation. It's more complicated if you do. I'm hoping you don't, because it's going to be hard to get a license as a nurse if you have some criminal record. And again, prove to the officer that you'll leave Canada when your study permit expires. So don't you worry about this one as well, because we will indicate in our letter what your intent is, right? What's your dual intent? So now, minimum requirements. This is now what is the requirement in order for the school to accept you as their student. Okay. So one would be you need to be registered in the country of your origin or country of residence where you're practicing your nursing. Have a minimum of at least 1125 hours of RN. It has to be while you're registered nurse, okay? And it has to be within the last 4 years. 1125 is not hard to get, especially if you're working full-time. Normally, full-time would give you close to 2,000 hours. So if you've been working full-time for a year, then this is a check mark. Minimum IELTS academic score. So I did mention that the study permit, you'll be studying either the 12-month or the 18-month course. So if your IELTS score is 6.0, then you'll be going into the 18-month course. If your IELTS score is 6.5, you have the opportunity to go to the 12-month course, which is great. That means it's a shorter course, 6 months less, and of course, the tuition fee would be lower as well. And for the 12-month course, if you got the 6.5, then there is a comprehensive nursing assessment provided by the school, and to determine if they'll be able to admit you to their 12-month course. Okay. And I'm pretty sure if you I'm pretty sure if you've been working as an RN in the Philippines or in your home country, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to pass this comprehensive nursing assessment. So, what is the course that you'll be taking? It will be the Canadian Nursing Review course, and this program will help you develop the skills that is required to meet the Canadian standards, right? And it's way different working as an RN in your home country versus working as an RN here in Canada. There's a big difference. And I can attest to that because, again, as I've said, I worked as an RN in the Philippines and now working here as an RN here in Canada. There's a big difference. All right. And the nursing review course will help you and will prepare you for that. So the course is made up of 6 components. So one is your medical terminology and communication, right? Next is your English or test preparation. So if you are taking the 12-month course now, and because your IELTS is 6.5, you won't be taking this English course. Okay? That's why it's a 12-month course. That's why it's shorter because you won't be taking the English module. Next is the Canadian Nursing Review, which includes your clinical experience, right? And then your final clinical competency review. And this one will help you pass the board exam. And all of the students that have taken this Canadian Nursing Review did get 100. Their passing rate for their NCLEX is 100%. Okay. So that's great. Next is your co-op education work experience and leadership in nursing. For the co-op, you can think of this one as your practicum. So going back to your college years, nursing college years, wherein you have practicum, you work, not work, you were, as a student, you were deployed or you had some clinical duties in a medical ward, surgical ward, orthopedic, maternity. So you'll have this one as well, right? But the main difference is that at this time, you already have an interim license. So you are being paid as an RN already, the wage of an RN. Okay. So it's not like you're doing a practicum for free or you're getting paid lower than the minimum wage. No, you'll be getting the wage of an RN, what an RN is getting, even though you are still in school. Okay, so this is great news for you, for the students, because that would help in terms of your finances as well. And not to mention, when you're here, you'll be able to apply for grants and loans. Let's say if you are for BC, you'll be able to apply for that student aid BC. So, but only once you're here though. You cannot apply for it while you're still back home. So benefits, easy criteria, easy admission criteria. Almost every RN can join this program, right? It's just your registered nurse have already practiced at least 1125, and then the IELTS score. With regards to the IELTS, we will tell you how we can help you achieve those scores as well. And before your co-op or your practicum, or even during your practicum, you're able to work off campus or on campus. So while in school, you can do it 20 hours per week, right? But if you haven't received your interim, you can't work in the hospital though. You can only work in the hospital for your co-op or your practicum, right? But the other work, you can do those things, right? So before, so while waiting for your interim license, let's say you came here on your first month, second month, you can start working, right? 20 hours per week. That's fine. And with that one, even though you're not getting the RN wage because you're not an RN yet, you don't have a license yet, interim license, you won't be getting wage lower than the minimum wage. You'll be getting at least the province minimum wage. It doesn't mean that you'll get a lower wage because you're a working student. No, right? And as a college student, you're allowed to bring your spouse and children as well. But again, you need to be able to prove that you'll be able to support them while you are here. And then after receiving your diploma, again, you and your family will stay here. You will be changing your permit from a study permit to a work permit and work as an RN. Your spouse will be coming, when your spouse is coming with you or going to follow you, your spouse will have an open work permit. So he or she can work anywhere, any occupation, any employer. Then that work permit leads to your permanent residency and eventually citizenship for you and your family. Okay, how much is the per hour for nurses here in Canada, right? Is it worth it? Why would I go through all of this, study, spend money, invest on myself for what, all right? When will I get my investment back? Okay, as an RN here in BC, so this picture right here is taken from the Nurses Union. So everyone in BC, all the nurses in BC, this is the wage grid that we use. Okay. So for first year, your wage would be 34.83. Next year, 36.17. On your third year, 37.51, so on and so forth until your ninth year. On your 10th, 11th, 12th, and so on, you'll stick with that 45.73. Now, if you came here with 5 years of experience back home, then when you get hired, they will adjust your wage and they won't start you on your first year. They might start you on the fourth or fifth year grid. So you won't be starting at 34.83. You'll be starting either 38.84 or 40.19. Okay. Okay. So that's the RN is the level 3. If you see level 1 and level 2, those are the LPN, licensed practical nurse. Okay. Level 4, 5, 6, those are supervisory role. So let's see some sample computation really of the wage. Okay. So 34.83 times 40 hours per week. So that's a full-time hours. You'll get 1,537 Canadian dollars per week. In 4 weeks, you'll be getting 6,148. If we convert that one in a year, so there are 52 weeks in a year, so that would give you close to 80,000 Canadian dollars, right? And when we convert that into peso, that would give you 2.7 million pesos. So this is the wage, a sample wage of a first year nursing, okay? Entry level nursing. You have 2.8 million pesos per year. And that's only first year. Again, since you have, I'm pretty sure before you come here, you'll have your RN experience at least a year. For a year, then you might start not at third for 83, you might start on the second year, right? But if you have more experience back home, then you'll be on a higher higher wage grid. Now, this is only you, right? What if you have a spouse? So your spouse will be earning, let's say, at least minimum wage, right? So let's say for BC, minimum wage is $14.60. If he is working full time as well, then he'll be earning close to million pesos per year. So between the two of you, it's almost 4 million pesos a year. Okay, so that is what your income will be. But of course, there is expenses involved before getting there, right? Before getting that reward. It's not for free. So what is the investment, right? So how much investment do I need in order to earn that income right there? And the way I see the investment here is that it is an investment on yourself, because you are studying. It's for yourself, and then how to get that investment back would be, everything would be dependent on you, right? How you do well in school and all of those things, right? Unlike, and no offense, but to these people who are working, let's say selling products online and all of those things, because yes, that's a good business, it's a decent business, but the business is relying on the customers or someone else. They're hoping that there will be people that would like their product, and not just a one-time thing, but a continuous thing, right? It's like a monthly ongoing thing. But if not, then it's hard to get that investment back, right? And when will you get your investment back, and when will you get and when will you start earning really profit, right? So with this one, yes, the investment might be big, but the return of investment is there, and it is dependent on you. Okay. So once the administration fee, this only happens once we have determined that we'll be able to take you, that you'll be able to get into the school, right? That you'll be admitted to the school. We won't be doing the administration fee if we think you won't make it in the school, all right? So the administration fee is 48,000. And part of this service that we provide, and part of this webinar, is the free unlimited IELTS review, and then the free IELTS exam. So in the previous slide, you saw that, you saw that the IELTS score needs to be either minimum 6.0, but it would be good if you have 6.5 and above, so that you'll be able to get into that 12-month course, which is less expensive, and you'll be able to finish it quicker, 6 months quicker, right? So with this free unlimited IELTS review, we will be able to help you get the score that you need, or even higher. Then once you're ready to take the exam, we will take care of your scheduling for your IELTS exam and take care of the fee for that one. Okay. The school application assessment fee, this is when now you submit your school admission paperwork and then for them to determine if they will accept you as their student or not. So that is 450. And then once they determine that yes, we would like to we are offering you a seat, then that would be the time to pay for your down payment for the school. And once you pay your down payment, then you will receive your letter of acceptance from the school, which you will submit together with your study permit. So the down payment is either the 8,150 or the 11,050. This is the 8,000 obviously is for the 12-month course. The 11,000 would be for the 18-month course. Okay. Now, the second stage is the visa application, right? Normally, consultants retainer fee, we charge $1,000 for that one. But for this webinar, for the applicants, for the nurses that are joining us as a result of this webinar, your retainer's fee is waived. So that's $1,000 savings. That's your visa application right there, 150. Medical exam, I wrote in there 10,000 or type in there 10,000. I'm not sure how much it is now in the Philippines with regards to the medical exam, but it might be close to 10. Biometrics, 85. That is if you haven't taken your biometrics in the last 10 years. Then once you have submitted your application, you're ready to go, you're ready to fly to Canada, then the balance for your retainer's fee normally would be due, which is 500, but for this one, yeah, it's waived. So what is the total tuition fee? For the 12-month courses is 16,300, and for the 18-month course, it's 22,100. Okay, but you've already paid 8,000 or 11,000 earlier in the application because that's your down payment. So 16,000 is the total tuition fee. That includes the down payment that you have paid, or 22,000. And again, the show money, which is your living expense, that's 15,000. So I know it's a lot of money, but you don't need to have this money under your name. Okay, if someone's helping you in your dream, for your dream to come to Canada and work as an RN, then that person's financial statements are the one that we'll be using. Okay, so you don't need, it doesn't need to be under your name. It could be your parents' name or your friend's name, or it could be a bank loan as well, right? So estimated total investment would be one, either depends on if it's a 12-month or the 18-month course. So, but it would be between 1.1 to 1.3 million pesos. But again, your return of investment, you'll be able to get that one in a year, right? So in a year, we have our sample computation on your salary is 2.7. Okay, so return of investment, it looks like it would be in a year or less. Anything after that one would be an income, right? Straightforward income. I know I have talked a lot and there's a lot of things to take in, but here's the steps to make it clear, more clear, or clearer. So first step is the eligibility check. So this is the stage we're in. We determine if you meet the minimum and if the school will be able to take you as their student. At this stage, you won't be paying for anything, right? It is just, we want to make sure that we are not wasting your time and money. So we have to make sure that you'll be eligible for the course that you'll be taking before we take any money from you. So once we have determined that you met the minimum requirement, and you'll be admitted by the school, then you start your application. And this is the stage where you pay the administration fee of 48,000. Then you take your IELTS right? So either you take your so at this stage we facilitate your unlimited IELTS review and then take your IELTS exam, and then we give that school application. And then once you're accepted by the school and you have given your down payment directly to the school, the down payment and the tuition fee, that one doesn't go to us. We have nothing to do with that one. You pay that one directly to the school. So you'll be confident that the money went to the school, right? It went to where it should go. So once you have paid your down payment, so acceptance letter, which will be part of your application for study permit to IRCC, and then you fly to Canada. I know, again, there's a lot to take in. Understand? So what's your immediate next steps? And this is only if you're interested with this program, right? Either the option 1, but I'm hoping it's the option 2 because that is less expensive than option 1 because of the plane ticket, right? That's going back and forth, and it's not a clear path, right? So I'm hoping it's the option 2 that you are going to take. So only if you're interested and want to avail the services that is included in this webinar, which is the free unlimited IELTS review, and then the IELTS exam, and the retainer's fee or profession or the consultant's fee being waived. Okay, so first step is submit your resume to assessment@romancanadianimmigration.ca. Okay, so again, that's assessment at romancanadianimmigration.ca, so that we'll do our, okay, the date on this one is wrong. Sorry, apologize for that one. We are live. So yeah, so subject line, study permit via nursing live stream August 8th. So it should not be August 8th. It should be the date today, which is, what's the date today? Sorry, August 22. Is that correct? Yes, today is August 22. Okay, so yeah, so submit your resume, assessment@romancanadianimmigration.ca, subject line, study permit via nursing, live stream, August 22, 2020. Because the reason why you need to put this one on the subject line is because we receive a lot of applications for eligibility check, and we want to triage it properly. If not, it might get buried in our hundreds of emails. Once you are eligible, then you proceed to the next step, which is the registration, and that is the start of your application. And that would be the only time you'll be paying that 48,000. Okay, and then of course, when we determine that you are eligible, we will email you as well with all the details in terms of the payment methods and how will you settle that 48,000. Okay. And again, there's a lot of things that you guys heard. There's a lot of information. It might be new to you or it might be an old information. I'm hoping that you did learn a lot of things though, and we'll be taking some nuggets here. And if you have any questions, I know it's you might not have one at the moment because you're still processing everything that you have heard. But if you do have questions though, please do not hesitate to message us, and we'll be happy to reply to those questions. But again, your first step is to submit your resume for us to determine if you're eligible or not. So it's an assessment at Roman Canadian Immigration.ca. And with this, I would like to say thank you, everyone. Thank you for those who have joined us in this live stream, live webinar. For those who are watching this recording, thank you as well. Thank you so much. I'm hoping that you've learned a lot, or you learned something at least. And if you don't mind, please do share this to your friends or family or groups, and that would be very much appreciated. So, once again, thank you. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Stay safe, everyone. Good night.